Growth doesn't come easily. It's not something that can be found on the other side of comfort. It's hidden behind the fears, doubts, and challenges that you prefer to avoid. The real growth, the kind that transforms your life, requires you to step into the unknown and embrace discomfort. Most people, when faced with something that makes them uncomfortable, will back off. They'll take the easier route, the one that feels safe and familiar. But if you want to become the person who never stops growing, you have to learn how to force yourself into situations that make you uncomfortable. The truth is, the best version of yourself is not waiting for you at the finish line of an easy, smooth journey. It's waiting for you on the other side of every challenge, every uncomfortable moment, and every struggle you face. You see, growth is not found in the easy wins. It's found in the battles, the setbacks, the moments when you're not sure you can keep going. And yet, in those moments, something incredible happens if you don't give up. When you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you open yourself up to new opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to stretch your abilities, and to discover strength you didn't know you had. The discomfort you feel is a sign that you're on the right path. It's a signal that you're about to break through to a new level of growth. That moment when you feel like turning back, when you feel overwhelmed or uncertain, that's the moment when you need to push the hardest. That's the moment that will define who you are becoming. Let's be honest, nobody grows by staying in a bubble. No? If you want to become the person who never stops growing, you can't wait for life to hand you growth on a silver platter. You've got to create it. You've got to seek it out, pursue it relentlessly, and welcome it even when it's difficult. You might be scared. You might feel inadequate. You might even feel like you're not ready. But the thing is, nobody is ever fully ready. We're all just figuring it out as we go. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stagnant is simple. The ones who grow are the ones who say yes to the challenge. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. Think about it. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you increase your capacity for more success, more courage, more resilience. You might fail along the way, but failure doesn't define you. What defines you is how you rise from it, how you get back up, learn from your mistakes, and try again. Every challenge you face has the potential to teach you something valuable. Whether it's the lesson of patience, persistence, or perspective, each experience adds a new layer to who you are. If you stay comfortable, you stop growing. If you avoid the discomfort, you miss out on the lessons that will shape you into the person you're meant to be. People often talk about the importance of comfort, how it feels good to relax, to take it easy, to stay in familiar surroundings. But comfort is a double-edged sword. Sure, it feels good in a moment, but it also makes you complacent. It convinces you that you've reached a point where you don't need to try anymore, that things are fine just as they are. But when you stop growing, you stop dying. Not in the literal sense, of course, but in the sense that your potential is locked away. When you stop pushing yourself, when you stop seeking discomfort, you stop discovering new parts of yourself. That's why you have to force yourself to grow. It's not about waiting for life to hand you opportunities. It's about creating those opportunities by actively seeking discomfort. It's about choosing the harder path because you know that on the other side of that challenge, there's a better version of yourself waiting. Every day you have the chance to decide who you want to become. Every decision you make either brings you closer to that person or keeps you stuck in the same place. And let me tell you, the discomfort is never as bad as you think it will be. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's hard. But when you look back, you'll see that those moments were the ones that shaped you the most. Those were the moments when you found out just how strong you truly are. Those were the moments that revealed your true potential. Look, we all face fears. We all have those voices in our heads telling that we're not good enough or that we're not ready. But that's exactly why you need to push through. If you listen to those voices, you'll never move forward. If you let fear dictate your actions, you'll stay stuck in the same place forever. But if you ignore the fear, face the challenge head on, and push yourself to keep going, that's when the magic happens. That's when you experience real growth. Understand this. Growth isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you achieve once and then stop. It's a continuous process. And to continue growing, you need to embrace discomfort on a daily basis. It's not about one big leap forward. It's about consistently taking those small, uncomfortable steps that add up over time. Each small step, each little challenge faced moves you closer to the person you're meant to be. So the next time you face a challenge, the next time you feel that discomfort, don't run from it. Don't shy away from it. Lean into it. Force yourself to grow even when it feels tough. Because that discomfort, it's your growth in disguise. And when you embrace it, you'll discover that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. Keep pushing, keep growing, and never stop becoming the person you were always meant to be. If you want to be the person who never stops growing, you have to make learning a way of life. Growth is a continuous process, and the moment you stop learning is the moment you begin to stagnate. The world around you is constantly changing, evolving, and presenting new challenges. And if you want to stay ahead, you must be equally committed to evolving. It's not enough to think that once you've learned a skill or mastered a particular subject, that's the end of the road. True growth comes from a mindset that constantly seeks to learn more, to dive deeper, and to never assume that you know it all. You don't have to wait for a teacher, a mentor, or a course to open the doors of learning for you. The truth is, you can learn anything you want, anytime you want, anytime you want. In today's world, there's a wealth of information at your fingertips. Books, podcasts, videos, articles, seminars, and even conversations with the right people. Yet too many people choose to remain passive, waiting for learning to come to them. That's not the mindset of someone who's committed to growth. No, the person who never stops growing is someone who actively seeks out learning opportunities, whether it's through formal education or personal exploration. When you approach life with a mindset of lifelong learning, you begin to see everything around you as an opportunity to grow. You don't just read a book for the sake of passing time. You read to gain new insights that can help you in your personal and professional life. You don't just attend a meeting to get through it. You attended to absorb new ideas, challenge your thinking, and contribute in a meaningful way. Every experience, every person, every event is an opportunity to learn something that can move you forward. And it's not just about learning new facts or theories. True learning is about expanding your mind, questioning your assumptions, and challenging your perspectives. It's about being willing to look at things in a new way and to be open to new possibilities. The moment you close yourself off from learning is the moment you stop growing. When you stop being curious, when you stop asking questions, you start living in a bubble of your own making. And that bubble can be suffocating because it limits your potential. The person who never stops growing isn't afraid to question their beliefs, to challenge what they think they know, and to be open to new ideas, even if they contradict what they believed in the past. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go out and reinvent the wheel. It's not about constantly trying to learn something completely new or overloading yourself with information. It's about creating a habit of learning, small daily efforts that accumulate over time. It's about reading for 20 minutes each day, listening to a podcast during your commute, watching a documentary on a subject you know little about. It's about finding something new in the world every day and making it a part of your knowledge base. Learning doesn't have to be difficult or overwhelming. It just needs to be consistent. When you approach learning as an ongoing journey, you start to realize that no one is ever truly finished. The people who achieve the most are those who are always seeking more knowledge, more understanding, more wisdom. Take a look at the most successful individuals in any field, and you'll see that they are always growing. They don't stop learning once they reach a certain level of success. They keep pushing, keep searching for new ways to improve, to refine their craft. They understand that growth doesn't have an end point. It's a lifelong process. Now, learning isn't always going to be easy. Sometimes it will be frustrating. Sometimes you'll face obstacles, setbacks, or moments of doubt. You'll question whether it's worth the effort, especially when the results aren't immediately visible. But here's the thing, growth is never about instant gratification. It's about the long game. When you learn something new today, even if it doesn't seem significant right now, it adds up. Over time, all those little bits of knowledge, all those new skills, all those expanded perspectives will come together and create something powerful. You'll look back and realize that the small, consistent steps you took to keep learning were the things that made all the difference. And sometimes learning comes in the form of failure. When you make a mistake or face a setback, it's easy to feel like you failed or that you're not good enough. But failure is one of the most valuable learning experiences you can have. It teaches you what doesn't work, what to avoid, and how to improve. The most successful people in the world are the ones who embrace failure as a part of their learning process. They understand that failure is just a stepping stone to greater success. It's not a reflection of their worth, but an opportunity to learn, adapt, and come back stronger. As you commit to lifelong learning, you also begin to recognize that growth isn't just about accumulating knowledge. It's about applying that knowledge to your life. It's about taking what you've learned and using it to make better decisions, solve problems, and create new opportunities. Learning without application is like having a tool without knowing how to use it. The more you apply what you learn, the more your growth accelerates. Knowledge becomes power only when it's used. The beauty of a lifelong commitment to learning is that it doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't require a classroom or a degree. It's about making learning a part of your daily life. Whether it's a conversation with someone who knows something you don't, a book that challenges your thinking, or a failure that teaches you an important lesson, every experience offers something to learn. The key is to remain curious, to keep asking questions, and to always be open to new ideas. You're not just learning for the sake of learning. You're learning because it's the fuel that will keep your growth engine running. It's the way you stay ahead in a world that is constantly evolving. It's the way you keep pushing yourself to become better, smarter, and more capable. Not capable. So never stop learning. Commit to making learning a part of your life every single day, and you'll see just how much it transforms you. Growth is not a straight path. If it were, everyone would be successful by now. The truth is, setbacks and failures are part of the process, and if you're going to continue growing, you have to learn how to handle them. But here's the thing, failure is not the end of the road. It's a part of the journey, a part that if you embrace it, will teach you more than any success ever could. If you want to be the person who never stops growing, you've got to learn how to bounce back from failure, how to stand up, learn from it, and keep moving forward. It's not the failure that defines you. It's how you respond to it. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. We all have goals and dreams, and when we work hard toward them, we expect to see progress. But life doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you hit roadblocks. Sometimes the effort feels like it's not paying off. And sometimes no matter how much you give, things just don't go the way you thought they would. But that's where the real test comes in. Will you quit? Will you throw in the towel? Will you keep pushing? The most successful people are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who failed and didn't let it stop them. They are the ones who understand that failure is not a sign to give up. It's a sign to get better. When you fail, it feels like a punch to the gut. It feels like you've been knocked down, and it's easy to want to stay down. But what if I told you that in those moments, in the heart of that failure, lies the opportunity to grow more than you ever imagined? Every failure holds a lesson. And the faster you learn to look for that lesson, the faster you will rise above it. Failure teaches you humility, resilience, and the power of persistence. It teaches you what doesn't work and helps you find new ways to approach a problem. It shows you where your weaknesses lie, but it also shows you where your strengths are. Failure is a tool, not a weapon. If you're serious about growth, you've got to learn how to take failure in stride. Stop seeing it as something to be afraid of or ashamed of. It's a natural part of the process. Every person who's ever achieved anything of significance has faced failure. It's a rite of passage. What separates the successful from those who give up is their ability to push through. The moment you choose to see failure as a temporary setback rather than a permanent defeat, you open the door to endless possibilities. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning how to use it to your advantage. Take a moment and think about all the times you failed in your life. How did you respond? Did you let it break you, or did you learn from it and come back stronger? If you're like most people, the first instinct might have been to retreat. to avoid the discomfort that comes with failure. But think about the times when you pushed through, when you didn't let that failure define you, when you rose from it and kept moving forward. Those moments were the times that shaped you the most. Those are the moments that matter. But growth isn't just about bouncing back from failure. It's about understanding that failure is just part of the process. It's not something that happens once in a while. It's something that happens all the time. As long as you're pushing yourself, as long as you're trying to grow, you will experience failure in different forms. And each time you do, it's an opportunity to get better, to refine your approach, and to come back strong. When you understand that failure is an integral part of growth, it stops being something you fear and starts becoming something you embrace. It's just another part of the journey. Here's another thing. The fear of failure can be paralyzed. We've all been there, too scared to take that next step because we're afraid we'll fall flat on our faces. But think about the times you've taken that leap anyway. Think about the times when you decided that the risk was worth it, even if it didn't turn out the way you expected. That willingness to take risks, to face the fear of failure head on, is what sets you apart from the crowd. It's what pushes you to keep growing. The person who never stops growing isn't afraid of failure. They've learned to use it as fuel to keep going. Every time you fail, you get a little bit closer to success. You learn a little more. You refine your process. You figure out what works and what doesn't. And when you finally reach that moment of success, you'll look back on all those failures and realize that they were the stepping stones that got you there. You can't have success without failure. And the more you accept that, the more you'll be able to push through the hard times without getting discouraged. But what happens when failure knocks you down again and again? What do you do when it feels like every attempt is met with disappointment? You keep going. That's the secret. You keep going, even when it's tough. You keep going because growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when you're faced with adversity and you choose to rise above it. It happens when you're knocked down and you choose to stand back up. The more you push forward, the stronger you become and the less fear failure will have over you. Remember, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Success isn't a straight line. It's a winding path full of ups and downs, twists and turns, but every single step is part of the process. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. So the next time you face failure, don't see it as the end of the road. See it as the beginning of something new, something better, something greater. Because real growth is about learning to embrace failure, to use it to fuel your journey, and to keep moving forward no matter what. You cannot grow unless you have a vision of where you're headed. Without a clear idea of where you want to go, you'll find yourself drifting, unsure of which direction to take, or whether the path you're on is the right one. Having a vision doesn't just give you a sense of purpose, it gives you a road map. It tells you where you're going, why you're going there, and what steps you need to take to get there. But here's the thing about vision. It's not something you just create once and forget about. It's something you need to revisit every day. It's something you need to commit to, something that will drive you forward, even when the road gets tough. Think about the people who have achieved greatness. They didn't wake up one day and suddenly know exactly what to do or where to go. They had a vision, and they kept that vision in front of them every single day. It didn't matter how difficult it got. It didn't matter how many obstacles they faced. The vision of what they wanted to achieve was their guiding light. It kept them focused, kept them motivated, and kept them moving forward, no matter how hard things got. When you have a vision, you stop reacting to the world around you and start acting with intention. You make decisions based on where you want to be, not on where you are right now. The problem is, too many people go through life without a clear vision. They live reactively, letting circumstances dictate their actions, letting the challenges they face control their mindset. When things are good, they're motivated, but when life throws a curveball, they give up. But the people who continue to grow, who push past their limits, are the ones who keep their vision in front of them no matter what. They don't wait for things to be perfect. They don't wait for the right moment to arrive. They take action now, based on the future they want to create. Now, having a vision is one thing, but it's not enough to just dream about where you want to go. You need to break that vision down into actionable steps. You need a plan. a roadmap that shows you how to get from where you are to where you want to be. Without a plan, your vision is nothing more than a wish. A dream without action is just a fantasy. So if you're serious about growth, you've got to take that big vision and break it down into small, manageable steps. It's not about looking at the entire mountain all at once. It's about focusing on the next step in front of you and taking it with intention. Each small step you take brings you closer to that bigger picture. And the more consistent you are in taking those steps, the more momentum you build. The beautiful thing about having a vision is that it gives you direction. It's easy to get lost in the day-to-day distractions of life. The emails, the phone calls, the to-do lists. But when you know exactly where you're going, those distractions don't have the same power over you. You're able to prioritize what matters. You're able to say no to the things that won't help you get closer to your vision. Because ultimately, every decision you make either brings you closer to your goal or pulls you further away from it. When you have a vision, you become intentional about how you spend your time and energy. But here's the catch. Having a vision doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing. Far from it. Life is going to throw challenges your way. There will be times when it feels like nothing is going the way you planned. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, when you question whether it's all worth it. But that's when your vision becomes even more crucial. It's the anchor that will keep you grounded when everything around you feels uncertain. When things get tough, you need to remind yourself why you started. You need to keep that vision in front of you and let it drive you forward. The other thing about having a vision is that it gives you a sense of purpose. When you know why you're doing something, it's easier to stay focused, easier to stay motivated when the going gets tough. If your vision is simply to make more money, for example, it might not be enough to keep you going. Obstacles arise. But if your vision is tied to something deeper, something that connects to your values, to your purpose, to something that truly matters to you, that's when it becomes powerful. The most successful people are not the ones who are just chasing after material success. They're the ones who have a deep sense of purpose behind their vision. They know that what they're doing matters not just for themselves, but for others. That kind of vision is what keeps them pushing forward, even when everything seems impossible. But having a vision is not enough if you don't have the discipline to follow through. You can dream all you want, but if you're not putting in the work, if you're not staying consistent, if you're not taking action every day to move closer to that vision, then it's just a dream. You've got to make it a reality, and that requires discipline. It requires showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It requires pushing through the moments of doubt, of fear, of exhaustion, and continuing to take one step after another toward your goal. Consistency is key. Small, consistent actions over time are what create massive results. And don't expect immediate results. Real growth takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. But the more you stick to your vision, the more you put in the work, the closer you get to the person you want to become. The key is to keep your vision in focus, break it down into actionable steps, and take consistent, deliberate action every day. It doesn't matter how long it takes. What matters is that you keep moving forward. Your vision will guide you, motivate you, and help you navigate the difficult times. It will remind you why you're doing what you're doing. The road gets tough. It will give you the clarity to make decisions and the strength to persevere. But most importantly, it will help you become the person you were always meant to be. Keep that vision close. Take consistent action and never stop moving forward. That's how you grow. That's how you become unstoppable.